Hello Acolytes of the Force and welcome back to the channel. Luke Skywalker was among the most influential beings in the entire Star Wars galaxy. After his victory in the Battle of Yavin, and then later the Battle of Endor, Luke became something of a household name and legend in the galaxy. In Star Wars canon, his fate is a bit different than it is in Legends. In Legends continuity, Luke Skywalker would have many more adventures, which would only serve to secure his place as one of the most well-known people in galactic history. Luke did end up having a child with Mara Jade, and his legacy of the Skywalkers would continue into future generations. But who exactly were these later kin of Luke, and what did they do in their time? We'll stick with us today, curious acolytes of the galaxy and of the Force, as we look forward into the Star Wars future and take a look at Luke's offspring and continued family tree of the Skywalker legacy. As today, we will explore the Skywalkers that followed Luke. It's important to note that these stories take place, of course, exclusively in Star Wars Legend novels and comics, of which there is a large amount of material. For the sake of this video, we will be condensing their stories into very brief summaries. To start, we'll begin with Luke Skywalker's own son, Ben Skywalker. In Star Wars canon, Ben Solo is the name of Han and Leia's child who would ultimately turn to the dark side and become Kylo Ren. In Legends, however, Ben was the name of Luke and Mara Jade's son. His story begins right during the middle of the Yuzhong Vong War when he was born amidst the chaos of the galaxy. With both Luke and Mara busy with the war, they weren't able to raise him as attentively as they would have liked to, and the task of raising him went directly to Han and Leia. While Ben grew up, he constantly felt the pain and horrors of the Yuzhong Vong War, accosting his young mind through the Force. Due to this, he decided to completely cut himself off from the Force for many years. This would be up until around the time that he was 8 years old, when his cousin, Jacen Solo, became something of a mentor and helped young Ben open himself back up to the gifts of the Force. Still being hesitant, it would take nearly 5 years for Ben to fully adjust into the Force. Interestingly enough, this is most likely the better alternative to what Luke had done in canon, when he allowed all the power of the Force to flood him in that instant, which ultimately may have led to his death. Though understandably, that was a dire instance in which he needed to help his friends in the Resistance from such a long distance away. Anyway, Ben would indeed go on to become a powerful Jedi Knight, as all Skywalkers were. During Luke's exile from Coruscant after the Second Galactic Civil War, Ben Skywalker decided to join his father in exile, and the two went on many journeys around the galaxy to uncover the secrets of the Jedi and the Force itself, as well as investigate the growing madness that was happening in Force users. Ben Skywalker would also help his father in battle against Abeloth herself, the dark side entity. Ben Skywalker was incredibly adept in the Force, being the son of Luke and Mara Jade. He was the strongest in telekinesis and was especially skilled in Force insight. He had a near-perfect memory, able to recall things in excruciating detail, as well as having experienced the ability known as flow walking. Flow walking was a technique used by the Aang Ting monks, which was taught to Jacen Solo and then inadvertently taught to Ben. Flow walking was the way of using the Force to project one's consciousness into the literal flow of time, which allowed the practitioner to effectively send their mind back or forward in time. This ability is what allowed Jacen Solo to actually go back and witness the Great Jedi Purge, and find out that it was led directly by his grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, and learn exactly how Anakin fell to the dark side. Though Ben would only try this technique once or twice and vowed to never use it again, after an uncomfortably overwhelming experience while using the ability. From here, there is a period of time where the generations are unknown, but the next Skywalkers we get are Cole and Nat Skywalker. In this time, Cole Skywalker was the headmaster of the Jedi Academy, and was trying to help the remnants of the Yuzhong Vong redeem themselves and build a better public image from the past by helping the out-war affected worlds. Unfortunately, there was sabotage in this project by the One Sith, a new Sith empire which had arisen in the darkness, as they began to start another war. Cole Skywalker and his family withdrew back to the second Jedi homeworld of Ossus, where he made a valiant last stand against the Sith. Cole Skywalker would slay hordes of pursuing enemies while his family ultimately got away. In the end, he had put down 7 Sith warriors and many other waves of stormtroopers before he was finally killed. His brother, however, Nat Skywalker, was a Jedi who rose to the rank of master within the Jedi Order and would then ultimately get married. When the Sith Imperial War started, he would leave the Jedi in an attempt to protect his new family and went into exile, taking on the alias of Banto Rock as his brand new name. This was not before he helped build a hidden Jedi temple on the distant planet of Tavis. He helped his nephew in the quest to kill Darth Krayt, and after their apparent success, Nat Skywalker answered the call of the Jedi Council to Tavis and was reactivated as a Jedi Master for the duration of the war against the reborn Krayt and the One Sith, resolving to remain valiant to the way of the Jedi. When the Sith, however, attacked the hidden temple, the Skywalkers fought alongside his nephew Cade, protecting the ancient Neti Jedi Master Tra Sa, who was engaged in battle meditation against the forces of the Sith. This is where Nat Skywalker would meet his end. Nate's children with his wife were all adopted, so we won't be counting them in the Skywalker family tree. Which leads us to the last known Skywalker. Cade Skywalker is a rather interesting case. He was trained as a Padawan in the Jedi Academy on Ossus. However, at the start of the Second Great Imperial Civil War, Cade turned his back on his heritage after being traumatized by watching his father's death at the hands of Darth Nihil and the One Sith, his father being Cole Skywalker. Cade, however, was not entirely alone. After successfully reviving his master, he swore his revenge and eventually became a pirate and a bounty hunter, operating from his own personal starship. He was unwillingly drawn back into galactic affairs, however, after he and his friends were captured by Darth Krayt. Darth Krayt would attempt to corrupt him into the dark side by nearly killing his friends and forcing Cade to use his anger in order to save them. He wouldn't fully turn to the dark side, however, as his father Cole and his ancestor Luke would come to him as Force spirits and guide him away from the path of the darkness. After being briefly captured by the Sith, Cade Skywalker was reunited with his uncle and his childhood sweetheart Azlyn Rae, who secretly became an Imperial Knight. After arriving to the second hidden temple on Tavis and been followed by several Imperial Knights, Cade was angered by Azlyn's betrayal until he had met with a new Jedi Council member in hopes that they could lead a successful team in killing Darth Krayt. Later on, Cade encountered Darth Maladi, who was seeking to perfect a new Sith bioweapon and implanted some of it into Delia Blue, an old companion of Cade's. He attempted to heal her, but he wasn't able to do so, ultimately deciding to leave, not being able to witness losing someone else. Wolf Sazin tracked Cade Skywalker down to a place known as the Wayland and convinced him to use the light side of the Force to heal Blue. In the end, Cade was successful, realizing that it was the light side that he needed to rely on. As a result of these events, Cade Skywalker finally rejected the dark side but resolved to not rejoin the Jedi Order, believing the Force shaped him for a different destiny, to destroy the One Sith. After his uncle's death in the attack on the Hidden Temple, Cade Skywalker led an elite strike team to shut down Coruscant's planetary defenses in one final battle against the reborn Sith. Although Cade lost his former master in the fight, he succeeded in resisting temptation, and as a Jedi Knight, killed Darth Krayt once and for all. To ensure the Dark Lord of the Sith would never return, Cade Skywalker took his ship to the planet Sun, where he intended to incinerate both himself as well as Darth Krayt's body. However, under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, Cade escaped the doomed ship and was rescued by R2-D2, as well as Blue. With the war now over, Cade Skywalker took his family and sent out to a distant location where the group could live in peace. As far as we know, this is where the Skywalker legacy comes to an end, as it is not known whether Cade Skywalker had any children or not. All of these events concluded in the year 140 ABY, or after the Battle of Yavin, and it's unknown whether or not Cade Skywalker chose to remain a Jedi and follow on with the Jedi traditions. So friends, what did you think of these men, and what did you expect out of the Skywalker legacy? Of course, in today's video we didn't follow the Solos, but if you would like a video covering Jason Solo and Jaina Solo, please let us know in the comments down below, as here we specifically covered the descendants of Luke. As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. May the Force be with you, and I hope that you have a great day.